Part 1 begins on the soft and peaceful world of Lyrianth, a planet known for its glowing forests, floating stones, and lakes that shined like silver under their 2 moons. Life there moved slowly, gently, without loud machines or rushing cities. Families lived in harmony with nature, and most people believed their world would always stay calm. One small family already felt a shadow growing around them. Even if the rest of the world remained unaware of the danger that was approaching, Rhea walked quietly through the soft grass behind her home, checking the sky for signs of storms. The air shimmered with faint blue light as the evening settled in. She brushed her fingers over the tall glowing plants and listened to the unusual way the wind moved. The wind always carried warnings on Lyrianth. She could not explain it, but she felt something restless in the air, something that did not belong to their calm world. When she entered her home, she found her husband Keller sitting beside their young son Arn. Arn sat on the floor, drawing circles in the dust. He looked completely normal, except for one thing: his birthmark. A star-shaped mark rested over his chest, glowing softly like a tiny living star. Most days it stayed dim, but tonight it pulsed, gently fading and brightening again, as if reacting to something far away. Rhea knelt next to her son and whispered, "Arn, does it hurt?" He shook his head and smiled. "It feels warm, like the sun saying hello." Rhea tried to smile back, but Keller could see fear hidden behind her gentle expression. They had always known Arn was different. The old stories said children with such marks were linked to the Starborn crown, an artifact so ancient that even the oldest books did not fully explain it. Some believed it granted magic. Others believed it controlled minds. Many feared it. Most thought it was only a legend, but Arn's glowing star made it real. Kaelor placed a calming hand on Rhea's shoulder. "He is strong, and he is ours. Whatever this is, we will face it together." Rhea wanted to believe that was enough, but deep down she feared their peaceful life was coming to an end. Her worry became stronger when the house trembled, not violently, but gently, as if the ground took a deep breath. Outside, the glowing winds shifted again, turning a strange shade of silver. Rhea and Keller rushed outside. Above the treetops, something unusual glowed, a bright white streak cutting across the night sky. It's moving too fast and too controlled to be a falling star. Keller narrowed his eyes. "That is no meteor," Rhea whispered. "A ship?" And she was right. Within minutes, the glowing streak slowed, lowered, and finally landed in the open clearing near their home. It made almost no sound, only a faint hum of energy. The trees bent gently away from it, as if bowing to a visitor from the sky. Rhea grabbed Arn and held him close. The birthmark on his chest glowed brighter, pulsing in the same rhythm as the strange ship's landing lights. She felt fear rush through her, but Arn only stared curiously. The door of the ship opened, and a figure stepped out. He was tall, dressed in a human space uniform, and carried no visible weapon. His expression was serious but calm, as though he came not to harm but to warn. Keller stepped in front of his family. "Humans rarely come here. Why have you arrived without sending a message?" The human placed his hand over his heart respectfully. "My name is Captain Elian Ward. I come with urgent news. Please, let me speak before danger catches up to all of us." Rhea tightened her hold on Arn, unsure if she could trust this stranger. But something about Elian's voice felt real. Not threatening, not demanding, just urgent. Elian glanced at Arn. The boy's glowing mark caught his eye immediately. The captain's face showed recognition, but also deep worry. "So the legends were true," he whispered softly. "The crown really has awakened." Keller stiffened. "Do not speak of the crown. Those tales only bring trouble." Elian shook his head. "Trouble is already on its way." The Galactic Council detected an unusual energy pulse from this region, your child's pulse. They believe he can activate the crown. They think he will unlock its power for them. Rhea felt her heart tighten. But Arn is only a child. Why would they think he could control something like that? "Because they do not want the power for him," Elian replied. "They want it for themselves." The air around them grew heavier. Even the glowing winds seemed to pause to listen. Elian continued, "I came here because not all humans agree with the council. Many of us fear the crown, not because of magic, but because of the danger of anyone using it to control others. Some say the crown can change minds, Others say it can break wills. But we believe something else. Freedom is stronger than any magic. And I believe your son is connected to the crown not to rule others, but to choose what becomes of it. Keller clenched his jaw. You expect us to trust you with this? I expect you to survive, Ilian said quietly. Because the council hunters are already coming. Fear rose instantly in Rhea's chest. She looked at Aaron, who watched everything silently, his star mark glowing softer now but still pulsing. Ilian stepped forward but kept his distance. Please. My ship is shielded. It can hide you. We must leave before they arrive. If they capture the boy, they will use him like a key. And once the crown is in their hands, no one in the galaxy will have freedom left. Rhea trembled at his words. She could not imagine Aren, her sweet child, who loved drawing in the dust and chasing glowing insects, being used as a tool for power. She did not care about legends, magic, or crowns. She only cared about her son. Keller looked up at the sky where faint, distant lights moved rapidly. The council ship's approaching. He turned to Rhea. We cannot stay. Rhea hesitated only for a moment. Then she nodded. We will protect Aren, whatever it takes. Leanne breathed a small sigh of relief. Then come quickly. We don't have much time. They rushed toward the ship, its ramp glowing softly. Aren looked back once at their home, the small stone house, the glowing plants, the peaceful lake. He sensed they might never see it again, but he held his mother's hand tightly, trusting her completely. As they entered the ship, the hum of energy grew stronger. Rhea felt strange vibrations, but none of them felt harmful. The human crew rushed around with practiced calmness, preparing for takeoff. Some looked surprised to see an alien family boarding, but no one treated them harshly. One of the human medics bent down to Aren's level. Hello there, she said gently. Are you scared? Aren shook his head. Are you scared? The medic smiled. A little, but brave people feel scared too. Aren seemed to like that answer. The engines roared softly as the ship lifted off the ground. The glowing forest shrank beneath them. Rhea held Aren close, and Keller watched the sky anxiously. When they broke through the atmosphere, they saw the council ships descending toward the place they had just escaped from. Ilian looked at them with a serious expression. You trusted me? No. I promise my crew and I will do everything we can to protect your family. Rhea studied his face. Humans were known for stubborn bravery. She wondered if trusting him was the right choice, but something inside her believed he meant every word. Aaron sat up in her arms and looked at the stars. Mama, he whispered, the sky feels different. Rhea nodded softly. Yes, my love, everything's different now. And as the ship prepared to jump into hyperspace, Aren's star-shaped mark glowed once more brighter than before, as if awakening to a destiny much larger than their small family could understand. Their journey had just begun. Part 2 begins with the Horizon Spear jumping into hyperspace, leaving Lyrianth far behind. The stars stretched into long silver lines outside the windows, creating a strange and beautiful tunnel of light. Rhea held Aren close, trying to stay calm as the ship vibrated around them. Keller stood beside them, keeping one hand on Rhea's shoulder and the other on the wall to steady himself. None of them had ever traveled in a human vessel before, and the unfamiliar sounds of humming engines and beeping controls made everything feel even more unreal. Captain Elion Ward stood at the front of the control room, speaking quietly with his crew as he monitored the readings on the screens. The ship had left the planet just in time. The Galactic Council's hunters had been minutes away from landing. Now in hyperspace, they were safe at least for the moment. When the jump ended, the stars returned to their normal shapes. The ship drifted calmly through open space. Rhea slowly relaxed her grip around Aren, though her heart was still uneasy. Aren gazed at the window with bright eyes, fascinated by the endless view. Are we far from home now? He asked softly. Yes, Rhea whispered. Very far. Aren pressed his small hand against the glass. It looks peaceful. Keller exchanged a look with Rhea. The galaxy was anything but peaceful now that their son was involved in something greater than they ever imagined. Elian approached them slowly. You handled the jump well, he said gently. Some people feel sick the first time. Rhea nodded. It was different, but thank you for helping us. You don't need to thank me, Elian replied. Protecting innocent lives is my duty. His voice was calm, but there was a heavy weight behind it. Rhea sensed he carried responsibilities heavier than he showed. A human engineer approached with a small handheld device. Captain, the scanners picked up a faint energy trail behind us. Very faint. Could be nothing. Or could be the hunters. Elian took the device and frowned. They shouldn't be able to track us this fast. Keller stepped forward. What does it mean? It means, Elian said carefully, that your son's mark is stronger than we estimated. The energy it releases might leave a trail that certain sensors can follow. Rhea felt fear rise again. She stepped protectively in front of Aaron. He can't help that his mark glows. He's just a child. I know, Elian said gently, and none of this is his fault. But we have to be careful. The Council wants the Starborn crown for themselves. They won't stop following you. Rhea's voice shook. What do they want with him? Why do they think Aaron can control something so old and dangerous? Elian led them to a sitting area where the lights were softer and the hum of the engines was quieter. The crew continued their work in the background, giving the family space but always staying ready. The captain sat down and gestured for them to join him. Let me explain what we know, he began. Hundreds of years ago, the Starborn crown had been created by an ancient civilization that wanted to bring the galaxy together peacefully. The story said the crown chose a single being whose heart was pure and whose intentions were unselfish. That chosen person was meant to keep harmony, not control minds. But over time, many groups twisted the story. They claimed the crown offered not unity, but power. A power that could force obedience, erase conflict, and reshape entire societies. That belief led to wars, betrayals, and the crown being sealed away. Now, the Galactic Council wanted it again. They believed Aaron's glowing star mark meant he was connected to the artifact. They didn't want him to rule, they wanted to use him. Rhea listened with growing dread. So they want the crown to control others? Elian nodded. Yes, they believe it could make the galaxy easier to manage. No disagreements. No rebellion. But humans like me believe something different. We believe that freedom is more important than control. Even if the crown truly held magic, no one should have that kind of power. Looked at his son, who listened quietly, trying to understand. Aaron doesn't even know what ruling means. He just wants to play and draw. Elian smiled sadly. That's exactly why the crown might trust him. A pure heart can see truths adults ignore. The ship shook suddenly. A sharp warning beep echoed through the hall. Everyone jumped to their feet. The human navigator called out, Captain, we've got incoming ships at long-range scanning distance. Rhea's heart pounded. Already? Elian ran to the controls. How did they find us so fast? The screen showed 3 dark ships slicing through space. Their movement was sharp and controlled. They belonged to the hunters. Keller clenched his fists. Can we outrun them? Elian worked quickly with his crew. The Horizon Spear was fast, but the hunters had advanced technology powered by energy crystals only found on Council worlds. The hunters gained distance rapidly. We'll try, Elian said. Hold on! The engines roared. The ship shot forward, making Rhea stumble. Keller grabbed her arms, steadying her as Aaron clung to her clothes. The ship dodged incoming energy blasts that streaked past like blue lightning. The human crew moved with speed and discipline. The engineer adjusted engine output. The navigator calculated escape paths. The weapons officer prepared shields. Rhea watched with amazement. Humans did not act like the fierce warriors she had heard about in stories. They were strong, yes, but also calm, focused, and full of teamwork. A blast hit the ship. The floor shook beneath them. Aaron screamed as the lights flickered. Elian shouted, shields holding. But we can't keep taking hits. Keller stepped forward. Is there anything we can do? Just stay together and stay safe, Elian answered. We'll handle the rest. The chase grew wilder. The ship rolled to avoid another blast. Rhea held Aaron tightly, whispering calming words. Keller pressed his hand to the wall to steady himself. The crew worked harder, and the hunters kept gaining. Then something unexpected happened. Iran's birthmark glowed brighter than ever before. The light spread across his skin like warm golden fire. Rhea gasped. Keller stared in shock. The glow spread into the air around him, forming a soft, shimmering bubble. Elian turned at the sudden light. What's happening to him? Rhea shook her head. I don't know. Aaron, are you okay? Anna looked calm, almost peaceful. It doesn't hurt. It feels like something is calling me. Before anyone could react, the bubble of light expanded outward, passing through the walls of the ship like gentle ripples of water. The moment it touched space, the hunters' weapons sputtered. Their engines dimmed. Their ship slowed as if caught in invisible waves. On the screen, the hunters drifted backward, struggling to regain control. Ilion stared in disbelief. He pushed them away. The human engineer whispered, How is that even possible? Iran's glow faded slowly until he returned to normal. He looked tired but unharmed. Rhea pulled him close, trembling with relief and fear. Elian approached them gently. Aaron, what did you feel just now? An thought for a moment. Something warm. Like the stars were talking. They said we have to go to the old place. The place where the crown is sleeping. Elian exchanged a serious look with his crew. So Lothar, he whispered. The ancient Starborn world? Keller spoke firmly. If that is where we must go, then take us there. Rhea hesitated for a moment, then nodded. She didn't want Aaron near anything dangerous, but she felt deep inside that this was the path meant for him. Elian stood tall. Then we go to Solathor. And we protect your family until the end. The ship changed course, leaving the weakened hunters behind. But Rhea knew they would return. The council would not stop. But neither would they. As the horizon's spear sped through the stars, Aaron rested his head on Rhea's shoulder, his tiny star-shaped mark glowing softly. He didn't understand everything, but he knew something important. Their journey had only just begun, and the galaxy was depending on them. Part 3 began as the horizon's spear drifted toward the ancient world of Solathor. The space outside the ship grew darker, almost quiet, as if even the stars were holding their breath. Solathor had no shining cities, no lights, no active life. It floated like a silent memory, a world untouched for thousands of years. The closer they came, the heavier the air inside the ship felt. Rhea sat beside Aaron, brushing his hair gently with her fingers. His small star-shaped mark glowed softly, sometimes brighter whenever the ship moved closer to the planet. Keller stood near the window, staring at Solathar's surface, vast deserts of silver dust, tall broken towers, and ruins that still held faint traces of blue light. Elian walked toward them after speaking with the crew. His face was calm, but Rhea could see tension behind his eyes. We're approaching the atmosphere. Once we enter, our sensors may not work properly. Solathor has strange energy patterns. Rhea nodded. We'll manage. Just tell us what we need to do. Elian gave her a small, reassuring smile. For now, stay close to Aaron. The planet may respond to him. Aaron swung his legs as he sat. Mama, does the planet know we are coming? Rhea kissed the top of his head. Maybe it does, Keller added quietly. This world is older than our stories, older than most species. It may understand more than we can imagine. Soon the ship entered Solathor's atmosphere. The sky became dark blue with swirls of silver clouds. Strange patterns appeared, wide rings of light moving slowly like ripples across the sky. Aaron leaned forward, fascinated. It's beautiful, he whispered. Rhea could not deny it. Even though fear gripped her heart, the planet carried a mysterious beauty that felt both ancient and alive. The ship landed gently near the ruins. The engines powered down, leaving the world strangely quiet. No wind, no animals. No sound, only silence. Ilian gathered a small group of humans and signaled the family to join them. We will walk together, he said. No one separates. The moment Aaron stepped onto Solathor's surface, the ground glowed under his feet. Soft blue light spread outward in delicate circles, faint but visible. The humans exchanged uneasy looks. Rhea reached for Aaron's hand, but he seemed calm, even comfortable, Keller whispered. It's as if the planet knows him. The group walked through tall stone arches shaped like half-broken crowns. Old carvings marked the walls, figures of different species standing together, raising their hands toward a floating crown. These pictures surprised the humans who had believed the ancient civilization wanted power. Elian touched the wall gently. These drawings? They show unity, not control. They wanted different species to stand as equals. Rhea traced another carving with her fingers. Then why did the stories become twisted? Why did fear replace truth? Because fear spreads faster than hope, Elian answered quietly. Aaron moved ahead slowly, stopping whenever the ground glowed brighter. It was as if he knew where to go. The crew followed him, trusting the rhythm of his steps. Finally, they reached a massive chamber half buried under silver dust. Tall crystal pillars surrounded the entrance, each one glowing faintly as if waking from a long sleep. The moment Aaron stood before the entrance, the doorway lit up with warm golden light. Keller stared in awe. The crown is inside, Leah nodded. This is the Chamber of Light. According to old research, this is where the Chosen One meets the artifact. Rhea tightened her grip on Aaron's hand. He's just a child. How can he face something so powerful? Elian placed a soft hand on her arm. Because he doesn't seek power. The crown responds to the heart, not age. Aaron looked up at his mother. Mama, I think it wants to show me something. Rhea's throat tightened, but she nodded. We're right behind you. Together they stepped into the chamber. The inside was breathtaking. Soft light floated in the air like fireflies. The floor shimmered like liquid glass. The chamber was circular, and in the center hovered the Starborn crowner ring of pure glowing energy, shifting gently like a living flame. It wasn't solid metal. It wasn't even a real object. It looked like light given shape. Aaron walked closer slowly. Each step made the mark on his chest brighter until it matched the crown's glow. Keller whispered, It is reacting to him. Leon stood with his crew watching silently. None dared to step closer. Everyone sensed this moment was not meant for them. Aaron reached the center of the chamber. The crown floated lower, wrapping him gently in warm light. Rhea's heart raced, but Aaron did not seem afraid. Instead, he closed his eyes. The crown's glow brightened around him. Suddenly, Aaron's breathing slowed, and his face softened. He saw something visions only he could witness. He saw worlds at war. He saw powerful leaders fighting, each wanting control. He saw the council arguing in dark rooms about power, not peace. He saw humans standing tall against injustice. He saw species helping each other, holding hands, protecting the weak. He saw choices, magic or freedom, control or unity, fear or hope. Aaron's small hands opened, and the light touched his palms like warm gold. He whispered softly, It was never meant to rule. Rhea stepped forward, tears in her eyes. Aaron? Aaron turned toward her, glowing like a tiny star. Mama, the crown doesn't want to be used. It wants to be understood. It wants the galaxy to be free. Before Rhea could respond, the ground outside shook violently. Loud explosions echoed through the air. Bright flashes lit up the sky beyond the entrance. The humans turned in alarm. Elian grabbed his communicator. Report. A human soldier replied through static, Captain. The council hunters found us. They've landed near the ruins. They're armed and closing in fast. Rhea felt panic rise. They're here for Aaron. Elian moved quickly, signaling his crew. Hold the entrance. Delay them. They must not enter this chamber. Keller stepped beside him. We will help. We won't let them take our son. Elian nodded. Stay behind the pillars. Use the ruins for cover. We only need time. Outside, the hunters shouted commands. Heavy boots struck the ground. The sound of charging weapons filled the air. Rhea looked at Aaron, who still stood in the crown's light. Aaron, we have to go. Aaron shook his head gently. Mama, not yet. Something is happening. His mark pulsed again, brighter and brighter. The crown glowed with him, responding like a heartbeat. The hunters burst through the ruins. Energy blasts flew through the air. The humans returned fire, using shields and barriers. Keller took cover behind a fallen pillar. Rhea stayed near Aran, protecting him with her own body. Elian shouted, "Hold the line." But the hunters were strong, trained, and fueled by determination. They pushed forward with each second. Their boots echoed louder in the chamber entrance. Then, Ron raised his hand. The crown reacted instantly. A wave of warm light burst outward, not violent. Not harmful, but powerful enough to freeze everyone in place. The blast moved like silent wind, pushing through the chamber and spreading across the ruins. Weapons shut down. Energy blasts dissolved in midair. The hunters paused in shock as their armor lost its power. Even the ground seemed to calm. The wave was peaceful. Aaron whispered softly, "No more fighting. No more fear." The crown brightened once more, surrounding him completely. Rhea and Keller stared with full hearts, amazed at their son's strength. Elian watched with awe, understanding that this small child held the courage of someone far older. Aaron looked at the crown and spoke with steady calmness. The galaxy must choose freedom. The crown dissolved into thousands of lights, floating up like stars and vanishing gently into the air. The chamber dimmed, returning to natural calm. Aaron fell forward slightly. Rhea ran to catch him. "Aaron, are you okay?" He nodded, tired but peaceful. "It's over, Mama." The hunters slowly lowered their weapons. Their armor flickered helplessly. They looked around in confusion, unsure what had just happened. Elian stepped forward. "The crown's power is gone. It cannot be used. Your mission is finished." One hunter removed his helmet, looking defeated but relieved. "So the galaxy is free. No one can take control now." Rhea hugged Aaron tightly. Keller wrapped his arms around both of them. They had not just survived. Their son had changed everything. Part 4 began in the quiet that followed the light. The chamber of light moments ago filled with bright energy, and the echoes of battle now felt calm and peaceful. The Starborn crown had vanished, leaving behind only gentle golden dust drifting through the air like soft falling snow. Rhea held Aaron close, feeling his small heartbeat steadying under her hand. Keller stood beside them, his eyes wide with amazement and relief. The hunters who had entered so fiercely now stood confused, powerless, and strangely calm after being touched by the wave of peaceful energy Aaron created. Elian stepped carefully across the chamber floor, checking on his crew. Everything had fallen silent, not because of fear, but because something greater than fear had filled the room. The humans lowered their weapons slowly. The hunters' armor flickered weakly, the power sources drained. No one tried to fight anymore. No one even raised a hand in aggression. Instead, the chamber felt like a place where old anger could not survive. Aaron lifted his head as he rested in his mother's arms. His star-shaped mark glowed softly, no longer bright and wild like before, but gentle and warm. Rhea brushed his hair back. "Are you hurt?" she whispered. Aaron shook his head. "Just tired. The crown showed me many things." "What things?" Keller asked softly. Aaron closed his eyes for a moment. "It showed me how people fought because they were scared. It showed me how the crown was meant to help everyone trust each other, not control them. And it showed me that the galaxy can choose its own path now." Elian approached and knelt beside them, speaking gently. "You did something no one else could have done, Aaron. You freed the galaxy from a power that many feared." Aaron looked up, blinking. "I didn't want anyone to be scared anymore. The crown didn't want that either." Elian felt a strange warmth in his chest. For years he had doubted the ancient stories. He thought they were myths or exaggerated tales meant to warn future generations. But this child had shown the truth. The crown was never a weapon of power. It was a guide, a voice that called for unity. One of the hunters stepped forward slowly, removing his helmet. His face was pale and tired, but there was no anger in his expression. "We were told the crown would bring control. We believed our leaders. But what your son did, it wasn't control. It felt like peace. I haven't felt peace like that in years." Rhea held Aaron tighter. "We only wanted to protect our child." The hunter nodded. and he ended up protecting all of us. Elian extended a hand to the man in a symbol of truce. After a long moment, the hunter accepted it. The two shook hands, something that would have been unthinkable only hours earlier. Outside the chamber, the ruins glowed faintly, as if the planet itself felt lighter. Solothar seemed to breathe again after thousands of years of silence. The humans gathered their equipment as the hunters, now calm, helped them repair damage around the entrance. Not a single weapon was raised. No commands were shouted. It was cooperation born out of understanding. Rhea carried Arn toward the exit, Keller walking protectively on the other side. Arn's head rested against her shoulder. His voice was soft but clear. "Mama, the light is going away." Rhea kissed his forehead. "It's good. It means your work is done." Arn nodded sleepily. "Will the stars be happy?" Keller smiled gently. "I believe they are." When they reached the outside of the ruins, the sky above Solothar had changed. The silver clouds were drifting apart, allowing the natural starlight to shine through. Rings of faint light circled the sky, fading slowly as though the planet was releasing the last of its ancient magic. Ilion joined them and took a deep breath of the cool air. The planet feels different now, lighter, as if a great weight has been lifted. Rhea looked around. What happens now? Ilion studied the ruins thoughtfully. Now, the galaxy begins again. Without the crown, no one has the excuse to control others in the name of safety. And people will look at your son as a symbol, not of power, but of hope. Keller frowned slightly. Hope can be dangerous too. People might try to use his name. Elian nodded. Yes, but he will be protected by us. By those who saw what he truly did. Arn stirred in Rhea's arms. I don't want to be special. I just want everyone to stop fighting. Rhea smiled softly. My son, that is what makes you special. They walked back to the Horizon Spear, where the humans greeted them with smiles and relieved expressions. The ship's medic came forward, gently checking Arn's pulse and temperature. He looks tired, but perfectly healthy, she said with a warm voice. A good rest will help. As they prepared to board, the hunter who had first stepped forward earlier approached Elian again. We will return to the council and report the truth. The crown is gone. No one can use it. Everyone must accept peace now. Elian nodded firmly. And tell them what the boy did. Tell them he chose freedom for all. The hunter bowed his head. I will. Rhea watched him walk away with the other hunters. For the first time, she felt no fear from them, only respect and understanding. The family boarded the Horizon Spear. The doors closed with a soft hum. The engines prepared for liftoff. Inside the ship, everything felt familiar. Now the quiet hums, the warm lights, the sound of gentle footsteps. This ship wasn't just a vessel anymore. It felt like safety, like a second home. Keller placed a hand on the window as the ship rose into the sky. Goodbye, Solothar, he murmured. Thank you for trusting our son. Rhea looked down at Arn, who slept peacefully in her lap. His birthmark had dimmed now, no longer glowing, only a soft outline of a star. It seemed like a reminder of what had passed, but not a burden. Ilian sat across from them, watching the stars through the glass. You know, he said quietly, the galaxy will want to know what happened here. There will be questions, rumors, stories. Some will believe, some will not. Rhea nodded slowly. What do you think will happen to us? Elian smiled gently. It depends on what you want. You can return home. Or you can help us. The galaxy needs voices like yours, calm, honest voices who know the truth. We could visit worlds, share what happened, help people understand freedom without fear. Keller exchanged a look with Rhea. It was a heavy decision: return to their peaceful life or step into a much larger responsibility. Rhea looked down at Ern's sleeping face. What would be safest for him? Elian softened his voice. Staying with us will keep him safer. The council won't dare to move against you now that the truth is known. And he won't have to face this alone. Crew and I will protect him with our lives. Keller nodded slowly. Then we travel with you. Rhea placed her hand over his. Yes, we stay together. Ren opened his eyes just a little, peeking up at them sleepily. Where are we going now? Elian smiled warmly. To the stars. To help the galaxy understand what you taught today. Arn blinked. Did I do something good? Rhea kissed his forehead. Yes, you reminded everyone what freedom means. As the horizon spear moved into open space, the stars ahead shined brighter, as if welcoming them. The family sat together. The humans nearby, and for the first time in a long while, the future didn't feel frightening. It felt full of possibility. A tiny child had changed the fate of the galaxy. A family had shown courage stronger than ancient magic. Together with humans, they would travel world to world, carrying a story that would inspire countless lives. The crown was gone, but hope was alive, brighter than any star.